Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs. They had just graduated from college, and it was time for them to go out into the big wide world and make a life for themselves. And so they packed up their slops and their troughs and their Balenciaga and Dior, and they moved out into the world. Now, where they moved, they decided they'd live near each other but not all live together. And so they moved to the edge of a forest where the property was cheap, and they bought some land, but they're very smart pigs, so they bought land that was not built upon yet at the edge of the forest. And the first little pig decided, I've gotten this land really cheap, and I'm going to stay cheap, and I'm going to build my house out of something that is a renewable resource that doesn't deforest at all, and I'm going to build it out of hay, because I've got this really smart guy I know who has an alfalfa farm, and he's got a surplus of alfalfa because cows are on diets, and so I'm going to build mine out of alfalfa. So he built his house out of alfalfa, or as you and I might say in common parlance, hay. So it's built, and he's moved in, and he's got all of his furniture sort of mid-century modern looking, Danish, kind of IKEA of the 60s. And because he's at the edge of the forest, and because he doesn't really like to take showers, there's this sort of fecund, bacony funk that permeates the trees of the forest. And who should it attract, this scent? The big, the bad wolf. The big bad wolf smells pig, and he thinks, that's dinner. And he thinks, I'm going to get me some pig. I'm going to have some ham, and it ain't even Easter. And he goes to where he thinks the smell is coming from, and lo and behold, he sees this sort of mid-century modern ranch style built out of hay, which he says, well, I mean, it's not really specifically hay, it's specifically alfalfa, but I bet that common farm animals think that it's hay. And he says, I think there's a pig inside there. And so he goes to the house and he knocks on the door, and he hears from inside, hello. And he thinks, well, okay, clearly that's a pig. So he says, little piggy, won't you let me come in? And the pig, who looks through like the little glass thing, the nubby thing that you get on a door if you live in an apartment building, the peephole, says, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin, or my kneecaps, or my knuckles. And so the wolf says, well, if you don't let me in, I can't involve you in this money-making scheme I have to sell Amway products. And the little pig says, oh, honey, thank you so much. I can't buy from Amway. I'm trying not to use petroleum-based chemicals in my cleaning supplies. I've got vinegar, some lemons, and baking soda. I'm good. And the wolf says, okay, look, I'm a wolf. I'm hungry. Let me in your frickin' house, or I'm going to huff and I'm going to puff. I'm going to blow the whole house down. And the pig says, honey, this is USDA grade A alfalfa. Okay, I've bonded it together with Gorilla Glue, and the house is not coming back. The house is ergonomic. The house is renewable. It's not going down. And the wolf says, okay, we're going to see about this, because I have an Olympic silver medal in house blowing. So try me, just try me. And the pig says, I'm trying you. This is me, oink, trying you. I'm still inside my house. So the wolf inhales deeply, using the diaphragmatic breathing that he learned when he was in music school, and then he exhales the most foul, garlicky stench. And the house shakes and some pieces come off, but what really happens is that the stench of this lasagna that he had 3 weeks ago and hadn't brushed his teeth since, it seeps through the spaces between the alfalfa and befouls the air in the house. And the little pig says, F it, I'm out. And he runs out the back, just like sniff through the alfalfa in the back of the house. And the wolf's like, what happened? And the wolf is like huffing, and he's blowing and huffing, and like like probably like about 7 hours later, he finally gets like the front wall of the house just to the left of the door has like a hole big enough that he can get through, and he goes in. He's like, "There's no pig in here. What happened?" And then he sees the pig-shaped hole in the back wall of the house. And he's like, "Oh man, he ran away. Okay, fine, whatever." And he goes looking for the pig. Now, pig number 2, pig number 1's brother, Alfalfa Pig's brother. His name is Quentin, and he did better grades than his brother Alfonso, who built the Alfalfa house. So Quentin is like, okay, I have not taken a course in structural engineering, but I did do that home ec course where all of the women learned how to bake and all the guys learned how to make birdhouses and tie flies. So I have some basic construction technology that I've learned. And so he builds a house out of wood. He goes to Home Depot and he gets like some 3/4 inch thick pine boards. He doesn't go for the composite board. It's a little too cheap, a little too flimsy, but he also doesn't go for the plywood, which is real sturdy. He just goes for your basic pine board. And he comes home, he gets it all stained nice, a nice maple color stain. It's sort of amber into reddish. And then he builds himself a house that looks really a lot like a birdhouse, because frankly, that's what he learned in home ec. The wolf comes up, and he's following the bacon trail of Alfonso, whose name he does not yet know, but he knows his funk, and he follows the funky trail, which, in a whole other sense, we should all do. The wolf follows the funky trail to birdhouse, and he goes, "Oh, birdhouse, okay." And he smells, and he's like, "I am getting pig funk, I am getting pine, and I'm getting a kind of a kuros." Kuros was it was a male scent, a perfume for men, a cologne for men in the 1980s, and it was a little bit. It was refined. It was more refined than your Jovan Musk or your Brut, but it was not quite gray flannel. But so he smells the kuros, and that is Quentin, and because Quentin is, of course, a gay pig, much like Sister Erotica. And so he says, "Okay, I've got 2 pigs in a birdhouse," which is like Budwell film, absurdist, surreal, great. And he says, "I'm a wolf, and I am hungry for your pig funk, and I'm gonna have to like wash down the kuros one, but there are 2 of you in there, and I want to be let in, and because I deserve my meal." And Alfonso and Quentin say, "I'm sorry, who is this?" And the wolf says, "I am the big red wolf, and you were made to be my lunch." And he says, "If you don't let me in, I am going to personally huff, after which there will be a substantial puff, and I will, as it has been said, blow your house in." And the 2 little pigs, Alfonso and Quentin, together rejoined it, because they were members of a choir in junior high school, so they know how to time their utterances. They sort of sing-songy chime this thing, kind of. I mean, it's really more of a hip-hop number, and they're like, "You can huff and you can puff, but we are UNITY, you call it a pig or a hug, and we will not let you in, not by the hair of our pancreas and our weenus." And so the big bad wolf, jewelry malfunction, the big bad wolf takes in a deep breath, and he exhales as best and as hard as he can. But the birdhouse, as you know, has an opening that's like above eye level. There's like a little stick that sticks out. So he's just blowing on the wood there, and he's not getting anywhere. So what he does is he gets a step ladder, and then he climbs up to like the bird hole. He can't fit in there, but he's blowing through the hole, and the 2 pigs are inside. But he's an Olympic blowist. And so by this time, he's had a little practice with the alfalfa house. So the pine house, he's blowing hard enough, and it's a trapped space. There's only that one hole. So the air is moving around at rapid volume, and it creates a vortex. And the pigs they're rattling around like a bean in a baby rattle. And so they're like, "You know what? Fuck this." And they cut themselves a hole in the back wall, and they're out. And they run off to find their 3rd brother. And the wolf after a while, he's like, I am not making headway in aperture and gaining entrance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically just use a saw. And so, because he had a step ladder, he made a run to Home Depot, and he had a hacksaw, and he just sawed the hole wider, got in, saw the hole in the back of the birdhouse, and he thought, okay, I've lost 2 pigs, but I'm a wolf, and tell you what, I've got myself a schnoz that can follow a trail. And so what did the wolf do? Everyone get busy with it. He followed the funk. He followed the funk. Moral of the story is, follow the funk. So that led him to the 3rd pig's house. Now, the 3rd pig, John, Alfonso, Quentin, and John, the 3rd pig had been to like the state university, and as this is probably somewhere in like Illinois, it's probably like Southern Illinois University, and they've got a really good department of engineering, and it's not as good as Denver, not as good as the University of Colorado or Denver. University of Denver, but it's good. It's very good. And so he knew what he was doing, and he was like, I need unimpeachable quality building materials, and that is either going to be poured concrete, which costs a big penny because we've got to rent the truck by the hour that's turning the concrete, get it over, and then pour. And that's just, and then you have to get that truck with the long metal hydraulic arm that has the hose, so you can pump the concrete and air inject it into your mold. He's like, that is a lot of money. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do earthenworks. And so he had built himself a kiln, and he had home fired his bricks. And he did not make the bricks with straw, because that would have caused a narrative paradox in the story of the 3 little pigs. He just built them out of clay mud, and it was good. It came from a local riverbank. He mixed it with a little bit of sand, but it was like at least a 75-85% solid clay brick, and that's a solid brick. And he got some quality mortar. One of his classmates was a mortarist, and so it was a mortician, and so he got mortar from the mortician, and he built himself a quality brick house, a nice little colonial house, kind of a captain's house, so more of a shotgun design than the salt box of what you'd expect from sort of a New England style post-pilgrim cabin. And so he was very happy in this house. Well, Wolf could smell the funk pig, because I don't know if you've been around pigs. I went to summer camp in Vermont, and I'm telling you, we had pigs. You can literally smell that crap from like 50 to 100 yards away, 50 to 100 feet away. You've got the garbage that they're fed, so that's rotting, and that's a thing. Then you've got the pig and the pig fecal matter. That's a powerful stench. So this little pig is a pig. So he's like wearing his environment, and he doesn't bathe, and he likes to dance to hip hop. So, there's a sweat funk, there's bacteria. It's a rich patina of odor. It's coming from Alfonso. And Quentin is no gem either. He's got some pine resin, so it's mitigated, but Quentin is not big on the bathing, and neither of them, being extraordinarily homosexual, are not really worried about cleaning up for the ladies. In fact, they're both attracted to bears, which is a completely different story that does not end well for them. But I'm not going to tell that story right now. But it's a social environment in which the natural odor of the male physique is prized. If you don't believe me, you come and visit me. You come to LA DryCon, and I will take you to Eagle LA and Silver Lake, and we will have a learning experience. Okay, so they're all in John's house. Alfonso, Quentin, and John. John is hygienic. Okay, John is a piggy, and if you see him eat, you'd think that's some splooshing right there, and you think he's going to smell. But John has got a high-powered steam shower, and so he's gotten himself clean. John had a stint where his mother sold him for some cash so that she could feed the family, and he had to go live with a woman in New Jersey who wanted a pet pig, a miniature pig, and that was a good thing for him. She was educated. She helped with his education. She helped him take the SATs, which got him into Southern Illinois University. But he grew, And she was like, this is no longer a miniature pig. And you cannot be my pet. You can either be my Sunday breakfast or you can go home. So he went home, and he finished his degree, and then the story ensued as I have told. But all this to say that John had some hygiene. So the wolf is smelling 2 pigs, and he's smelling some Irish Spring, which was John's favorite soap. So he knew the 3 entities in the house. So he goes, okay, little pigs, 2, and what I'm going to assume is either like a wasp who is using Irish Spring, like a bougie wasp who's using Irish Spring, or perhaps a 3rd pig. Let me come in. As you know, as we have established, ich bin ein Wolf. Ich bin ein Wolf. Je suis un wolf. Un loup. Je suis un loup. Sono un lupe. Spero crepi lupo. Sorry, I'm getting into aphorisms from sort of Tuscany. We've established he's a wolf. He established it to the pigs, and he insists again on entrance. The pigs, of course, deny him, not by the hair of our other weenus, our epiglottis, or places where we might actually grow hair. And so I know the rhyme. I know the rhyme involves the chin. I just want to say here that has to have been stolen, or maybe AI researched it and just pulled it from a story about goats, because goats have prominent chin hair. They're known for it, especially in Kashmiri goats that make the shawls and the sweaters. Pigs, not known for chin hair, not known for back hair, which makes a lot of hairbrushes, or used to make in the 19th century, made hairbrushes. Not known for chin hair in this context, in this era. The chin and the hair, the hair negotiation and hair entrance negotiation is made. It's a deny, and the wolf is on his own appeal and says, I, Herr Wolfen, will huff, and I will cocoa puff, and I will blow your house in, and that will be dinner. You might as well put an apple in your mouths, because there's going to be lechon adentro el estomaco de esto wolf. The pigs are like, oh, you can try, but we've got a disco ball, and we've got Bee Gees and Donna Summer, so it's a dance party, and you are not invited. Goodbye, Huffy. So the wolf, he again takes his Olympic-sized lungs, and he inhales, and he drives, and he hums. And I'm talking, this is some quality brick material. I mean, it's a thing of beauty. If you're in Southern Illinois, check it out. Go find their house. You're going to really love this brickwork. They've got that thing with the keystone and like the arch of bricks right over the door. You know, a nice colonial white door with like brass fixings. I mean, it's a really beautiful colonial style captain's house. I'm just going to wager a guess that in like 150 years, it's going to be one of those things on the town register of historical landmarks. But what do I know? You know, it's young yet in the house's architectural history to call that. The wolf makes no headway, blowing and huffing and puffing. So what he does is he goes in through the basement, because, you know, a good house, especially in Illinois, which has harsh winters at times, it's got to have a basement, because that's where you keep your warm air so that you're not getting cold air like blowing up through the cracks in the floor. Californians, you don't have houses with basements. You might want to pay attention to that, because in winter it gets down to 40 degrees, and when it's 40 degrees outside, it's 40 degrees inside in California, because you people don't insulate and you don't have basements. I'm just saying, if you're building build a basement. Wine cellar, just 2 words for California people, wine cellar. So he goes in through the basement, and he comes up the base steps to the kitchen door, right? And he busts in, and true to their word, those pigs are having a hot damn disco party. And they are sweating some pig funk in dancing up a storm. But they're not alone. And to Wolf's great surprise, there are bears at the disco party. And the bears, they've been dancing hard, and they need a light snack, and it's either their boyfriends or it's the wolf. And the story where it's their boyfriends is a sequel, and maybe I'll get Sister Crap to tell that one, because I I didn't even go see Saw. I don't do horror thriller, so I'm going to let Sister Crap tell that one. But the wolf ends up as some kind of wolf au vin, loup au vin for the bears for lunch. It's not a good time for the wolf. Dance party continues into the night, though, and after that, there's some shenanigans, and it cannot repeat in mixed company. But I think you know what I'm saying. That's where Pig Bear Wolf comes from in lore in southern Illinois. That again is another story, different from the one I was telling you was another story. It's really 3 stories in one. This thing about the pigs, but I haven't had dinner, so I'll stop the story here.